The Alps, Europe's majestic wonderland. Yet deep inside lies one of the world's longest road tunnels. Daily it carries thousands of motorists in safety. Until an ordinary lorry explodes into flames. The tunnel turns into a terrifying death trap in just 14 minutes. Now, with cutting-edge computer technology, we reveal exactly what went wrong. Disasters don't just happen, they're a chain of critical events. Unravel those fateful decisions in the final seconds from disaster. Europe, France, Mont Blanc. March 24th, 1999. 10:30 a.m. The world's deepest tunnel, cut through solid rock, lies 2,478 meters beneath Mont Blanc, Europe's highest mountain. It's a vital road link between France and Italy, one favored by truck drivers, especially as it shortens their journey time from 7 hours to only 15 minutes, and saves the climb through winding mountain roads. More than 5,000 vehicles use the tunnel every day, including tourists, locals, and lorries. It's a fine spring morning as British trucker John Whitby heads for the toll on the Italian side.
As you come up through the mountains towards the tunnel entrance, it's very picturesque, and then it's this little black hole in the side of the mountain. Prior to this particular day, I'd always been quite happy to go through the tunnels.
Some use the tunnel for pleasure. Extreme skier Nicolas Borghi is heading from his home in Italy to the ski slopes of France.
That day, the snow conditions were perfect. It is my passion to ski off-piste. We packed our ski boots and all our other gear in the car and drove towards the tunnel. When we got there, we paid our tolls and entered the tunnel as we'd done 1,000 times before.
Normally, it takes Borghi 15 minutes to drive through the tunnel. Today's journey would be different.
We invite you to comply with the safety regulations indicated on the information brochure.
Surely it's always dangerous to cross a tunnel, but nothing had ever happened before.
And we wish you a pleasant trip.
As Borghi and Whitby drive through the tunnel from Italy to France, two independent control rooms monitor their progress. One on the Italian side and one on the French side. Up until now, it's just another day in the tunnel. A tunnel that has carried more than 45 million vehicles since it opened in 1965. A remarkable feat of engineering. It took 4 years to blast through the solid rocks in the Alps to create one of the longest road tunnels in the world, and one of the safest. 18 fire refuges are spaced every 600 meters throughout the tunnel. There are 77 emergency telephones, with a dedicated rescue team at the French end and volunteer rescuers at the Italian end. Until the 24th of March 1999, it's free of major incidents. The teams have dealt with all previous lorry fires without major casualties. But all this is about to change. 10:46 a.m. A 40-ton refrigerated lorry arrives at the toll booth on the French side of the tunnel. Just one of the 2,000 lorries that use the tunnel every day. Behind the wheel is Gilbert de Grave, a 57-year-old Belgian driver with 25 years experience. 10:47. He enters the tunnel and reaches 60 kilometers per hour. refrigerated Volvo lorry is carrying an everyday load, 9 tons of margarine and 12 tons of flour, destined for a food factory in Milan. Other lorries and cars enter the tunnel behind him. As always, 40 closed-circuit TV cameras monitor the progress of all vehicles. 10:49. De Graaf's lorry has been in the tunnel for 2 minutes, but neither he nor the closed-circuit TV cameras can yet pick up the first signs of trouble. White smoke is escaping from behind his cab. De Graaf's lorry is now more than 2,400 meters underground and over 2 kilometers into the tunnel. Unaware of the smoke, he continues on his journey. 10:50. The smoke increases. De Graaf is nearing the middle of the tunnel. 9 sensors run the length of the tunnel. They feed information on the visibility to control rooms at either end. When visibility is reduced by 30%, it triggers an alarm. But the smoke billowing from De Graaf's lorry is not that dense yet. At last, De Graaf does notice.
I looked at my side mirrors. I saw some smoke at the right side, but not much. So I drove on normally.
It's 10:51. De Graaf is 5 kilometers into the French side, and the situation is now far from normal. Oncoming cars and lorries can clearly see smoke from behind the cab. It passes under the trailer and swirls up towards the roof of the tunnel. More and more drivers realize something is seriously wrong. They try to get De Graaf's attention. 10:52. Now the smoke is dense enough to trigger the tunnel sensors. These raise an alarm in the French control room, but not the Italian one, as it's been turned off because of a false alarm the previous day. False alarms are not uncommon. At this stage, only the French tunnel operator hears the alarm, but doesn't know its cause. Meanwhile, the entrance tolls to the tunnel remain open. Vehicles continue to enter from both ends. Finally, Gilbert de Graaf can ignore the smoke no longer.
As I drive, the smoke is increasing. I put on my hazard lights to warn the people behind and avoid an accident.
It's 10:53. He brings his lorry to a halt. He's 6 kilometers in, the halfway point of the Mont Blanc Tunnel.
I stopped slowly. I got out of the truck and the smoke was much more noticeable.
A queue quickly forms behind him.
I tried to grab hold of the extinguisher, but I didn't have time because the whole cabin was in flames.
Suddenly, it explodes. De Graaf abandons his lorry and runs towards Italy. Driving towards him on the other side of the road is the Italian skier Nicolas Borghi.
I was halfway through the tunnel when I saw a glow far away. Then, when I was 20 meters away, I saw a massive flame and the truck driver running away.
The queue behind De Graaf's lorry is growing. 38 men and women are stuck in their vehicles. None of them can see the danger ahead. But John Whitby, who's coming from the opposite direction, can.
We looked down the tunnel and couldn't see anything but blackness. But what we didn't know at that point was that the blackness was actually thick smoke.
And that thick smoke is rapidly enveloping the vehicles stuck behind De Graaf's lorry. Within seconds, the road tunnel will turn into a raging inferno. A lorry traveling from France to Italy in the Mont Blanc Tunnel stops and erupts into flame. A line of vehicles comes to a halt behind it. Alarms trigger in the tunnel's control rooms. But operators do not yet realize the seriousness of the situation and continue to allow vehicles to enter the tunnel from its two entrances in France and Italy. (10:54). The lorry's been on fire for 1 minute. Someone in the tunnel sees the smoke and uses the emergency phone at Refuge 22, 300 meters from the lorry, to raise the alarm. It rings through to the Italian control room. The operator there gets his first direct information that there's a serious problem. Immediately, the Italian and French controllers speak to each other. Now, they can clearly see the smoke on their monitors. But they can't see the lorry. It's hidden by the smoke. Realizing the danger, they close the tunnel to new vehicles at both sides. But for the 25 vehicles and 38 people who've already followed de Graaf's lorry into the tunnel, it's too late. They're either driving towards the lorry or they're already stuck behind it. (10:56). By now, thick black smoke is moving over the first of the vehicles trapped behind the lorry back towards France. But ahead of the flaming lorry towards Italy, the smoke is spreading more slowly. Drivers coming from that direction include Nicholas Borghi.
I myself and the cars behind me were able to reverse till we reached a lay-by where we could do a U-turn and head towards the exit.
In the Italian control room, an operator sees the fleeing vehicles and pumps fresh air in towards them. But this increased airflow moves through the tunnel towards the fire and onto France. When air hits fire, it's a problem. Like Borghi, John Whitby is also trying to escape. He stops 300 meters from the Inferno. But the tunnel is too narrow for his lorry to turn. He has no choice but to abandon it. As he does, he looks back on the trapped vehicles.
There must have been a lot of people that just did not stand a chance at all. It must have been absolutely horrifying for them.
As Whitby makes his escape, the fire is burning fiercely, producing more and more thick black smoke. 10:57. The fire has been raging for just 4 minutes. Yet the killer smoke has already covered almost half a kilometer on its way towards France. The alarm reaches the tunnel's rescue team stationed at the French entrance. A 4-man team prepares to go in. 10:58. The wall of smoke from the epicenter of the fire obscures the view of the closed-circuit TV cameras. And as the French rescue team enter the tunnel, they don't know that 38 people are stuck in their vehicles behind the lorry. For the drivers, the situation is horrific. The visibility is reduced to half a meter. Panicked, some try to drive away. But the lack of oxygen kills their engines and their only means of escape. In desperation, some try to get to refuges, specially designed fireproof rooms located every 600 meters. But their quest is futile.